Good evening and welcome to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Erin Wise.
And I'm Andy Hewling. We've got a full show for you tonight, from Auburn's tough SEC road test to the tip-off at Toomer's Corner.
So keep it right here on Channel 6. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn.
Number 8 Auburn looked to face off in the first true road test of the past weekend as they traveled to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Unfortunately, the Tigers were not able to come out with the result they wanted, as Mississippi State would prevail, coming out with the win by a final score of 23-9.
The biggest story for Auburn was the lack of production from the offensive side of the ball, as the Tigers, who normally rush for over 200 yards a game, were held to less than 100 for the second straight week.
Jared Stidham seemed to struggle for the Tigers, completing 19 of his 38 passes for 214 yards, but without any touchdowns. There were a few plays specifically where Stidham missed his targets, and that seemed strange for him.
Not only did the pass game seem to struggle at times in Starkville, but it seems as if Auburn's running game has lost their way. The Tigers, as a team, were able to rush for 90 yards.
It's the second week in a row Auburn has been held to under 100 rushing yards after only rushing for 96 last week against Southern Miss. As of right now, Auburn sits at number 21 in the AP poll, while Mississippi State moved from unranked to 24 back in the rankings after dropping out earlier in the season. We'll take a look at the rest of the rankings in a few minutes, but for now, let's talk about this Auburn team.
Well, Aaron, Auburn's struggling really mightily on offense. It seems like nothing is going their way. Offense production only 3 for 14 on third downs. Rush for, like we said, only about 100 yards. It's very concerning for Auburn.
That's definitely true. If we don't step it up in some type of way, I think the Auburn Tigers are going to struggle the rest of the season. We have some huge road tests coming up, and the offense really needs to step up to where the defense is playing.
Definitely.
Coming up, a look at your national sports. Keep it right here on Sports Night in Auburn.
Fans, direct your attention to the flagpole for a special presentation.
You never really leave Auburn, because Auburn never leaves you.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
The official AP Top 25 poll came out late Sunday, so let's take a look at what teams rose and what teams fell this week.
To almost no one's surprise, Alabama took the top spot, followed by Georgia at 2, Ohio State at 3, Clemson at 4, and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame rounding out the top 5.
Coming in at number 6 is West Virginia, 7 Washington, 8 Penn State, 9 Texas after their big win against Oklahoma, and finishing out the top 10 is UCF.
At 11, we have Oklahoma, 12 Michigan, 13 LSU, 14 Florida, and 15 Wisconsin.
At 16, Miami, 17, Oregon, 18, Kentucky after suffering their first loss of the season, 19, Colorado, and 20, NC State.
Rounding out the top 25 is Auburn at 21, Texas A&M at 22, USF at 23, Mississippi State moving up to 24, and Cincinnati coming in at 25.
The biggest winner in this week was Texas, moving up 10 spots after their win against Oklahoma. And the biggest loser was Auburn after they fell 13 spots due to their loss to Mississippi State. Let's take a look at NFL scores as we start with the Pittsburgh Steelers facing off against the Atlanta Falcons in Heinz Field. Ben Roethlisberger would continue to put up big numbers as he completed 19 for 29 passes with 3 touchdowns and 2 of them to Antonio Brown, who seemed to have found his mojo after a slow start to the season. Brown finished with 6 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns, and James Conner also had an impressive game, rushing for 21 carries on 110 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with 4 catches for 75 yards. The Falcons seemed to struggle offensively as the normally high-powered offense only mustered up 17 points, and the Steelers moved to 2-2-1 on the season, and the Falcons fell to 1-4.
The Browns would welcome Baker Mayfield to Cleveland for his first start at home as the Browns would face the Ravens looking for their second win this season. Mayfield would show out once again, completing 25 of his 43 passes and for 342 yards and a touchdown as he led the Browns to a come-from-behind overtime win by a final score of 12-9. Baltimore played a solid game with Joe Flacco would complete 29 of his 56 passes for 298 yards, but it was not enough. The Browns would move to 2-2-1 on the season, and the Ravens would sit at 3-2.
In a rematch of last season's NFC Championship, the Vikings and the Eagles faced off in Philadelphia. The result, however, would be a little different than last year's playoff game. The Vikings would come out of this game with a win as Kirk Cousins had a very efficient day through the air, completing 30 for 37 passes for 301 yards and a touchdown. Adam Thielen also continued to impress as he finished with 7 catches for 116 yards while setting an NFL record, becoming the only player in league history to have 100 receiving yards in his first 5 games of the season. Carson Wentz also had a solid day, going 34 for 35 through the air with 2 touchdowns, and his favorite target, Zach Ertz, finished the game with 10 catches for 110 yards. But it wasn't enough as the Vikings would win 23-21. The Vikings moved to 2-2-1, and the Eagles fall to 2-3.
In one of the more exciting games of the weekend, the New York Giants would travel to Charlotte to face the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers would come out on top, winning on a 63-yard field goal from kicker Graham Gano as time expired. Cam Newton helped his team to the victory, finishing 21 for 35 with 237 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also rushing 8 times for 29 yards. The offensive highlight of the game came from the Giants on the trick play where Odell Beckham Jr. launched a 57-yard bomb to rookie running back Saquon Barkley for a touchdown. Odell would also catch a touchdown later in the game. The loss moves the Giants to 1-4, while the win moves the Panthers to 3-1 on the season.
It's October, and you know what that means. Playoff baseball is upon us, and the World Series is just around the corner.
That's right, Andy, and so far this postseason has not been one for disappointment. After defeating the Oakland Athletics in the wild card round, the New York Yankees are currently in a 1-1 draw with their rival, the Boston Red Sox, in the American League Division Series. On the other side of the American League, we have the reigning champions, the Houston Astros, sweeping the Cleveland Indians, sealing their path to the American League Championship Series. Both of these series are set to begin play this week.
On the other side of the bracket in the National League, one ticket has already been punched to the National League's Championship Series as the Milwaukee Brewers swept the Colorado Rockies after the Rockies played a role in the heartbreaker in Chicago. Defeating the Cubs in the wild card round on the other side of the country, the Atlanta Braves currently down to 2-1 to the Los Angeles Dodgers with the series spot on the line.
Coming up, we'll take a look at everything you need to know about tip-off at Tumors. Stay right here at Sports Night in Auburn.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
On Thursday, the Auburn basketball team will be hosting the tip-off at Toomers to celebrate the start of the new season. Festivities will begin at 10 a.m. with a 3-on-3 tournament open to all Auburn students, and the championship game will be played at 7 p.m. The Auburn basketball team will take the court at 8 and will play until 9. Throughout the day, Tiger fans are encouraged to come out and visit the local stores and activities that will be on Sanford Lawn, as well as an autograph session with the players after the game. If you can't make it out to tip-off at Toomers, the SEC Network will be airing it at 8 p.m.
On Wednesday night, Auburn volleyball faced a tough challenge against the Georgia Bulldogs in Auburn Arena. Eagle Eye's Caitlin Kiernan has the report from the game.
Auburn University's volleyball team took on the Georgia Bulldogs after their last win against Ole Miss. The Tigers setter, Micah Allison, led the team with 46 assists. The senior, Brenna McElroy, led the team with 19 kills, and Bella Rosenthal finished with 18 digs. Auburn took the first set with a score of 25-24. Georgia came back strong into the second set, winning 25-15. After a tie of 16-16 in the third set, the Tigers pushed through and took the third set with a score of 25-22. Set 4 started off with 12 ties and 6 lead changes. A kill from McElroy put Auburn up 15-13, but Georgia was not ready to call it quits. The Bulldogs prevailed 25-21 in the fourth set and stole the tie-breaking set with a strong outside kill, ending at 20-18. Auburn put up a tough fight, but they were defeated by the Bulldogs in the fifth set. The Auburn Tigers continue their season as they face the Alabama Crimson Tide Sunday, October 7th at 1:30 p.m. in the Auburn Arena. They will take on another SEC rival, Texas A&M, on Friday, October 12th in College Station, Texas.
Let's take a look ahead at some of the upcoming games in Auburn sports. Men's tennis will travel to Birmingham to play in the Sanford Fall Invitational, which will last the entire weekend.
Equestrian will host the Ole Miss Rebels on Friday, with the event starting at 3 p.m.
Volleyball will travel to College Station to face off against Texas A&M. The game is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. and will be available on the SEC Network Plus.
On Saturday, Auburn football will cap off the weekend as they face the Tennessee Volunteers in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Kickoff will be at 11 a.m. and will be on the SEC Network. That's all that we have for you tonight. Be sure you're keeping up with all of the latest Auburn sports news throughout the week by following us on Twitter at EETV_sports. And be sure to head to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com. I'm Erin Wise.
And I'm Andy Hewling. Thanks for joining us, and War Eagle.